At the Emirates Stadium, David Raya is an impenetrable wall of steel. But off the pitch, his heart is facing a challenge more difficult than any football match: love. Chapter 1. A Chance Encounter. One rainy London afternoon, after a hard training session with Arsenal, David stopped by a small cafe in Notting Hill. There, he met Lucia, a Spanish girl studying architecture, also taking shelter from the rain. She had no idea who he was, which made David feel relieved and attracted. "Do you like Gaudi paintings?" Lucia asked when she saw him staring at the Park Güell painting hanging on the wall. "I grew up near Barcelona. I've always been fascinated by things that don't follow the mold, like you," David replied, not taking his eyes off her. They exchanged numbers, and the conversations began to last late into the night. From coffee to walks, from Notting Hill to Sevilla, where he took her to visit his hometown during the winter break. Chapter 2. Pressure and Secrets. The media began to scrutinize. Lucia became the focus of social media when she was discovered with David at a private party. She was harassed, and David was criticized for losing focus on the season. Tensions rose when a crazy fan even sent Lucia a threatening letter. She panicked, demanding to break up to protect his career. "If you are a burden, I will carry it for the rest of my life." David hugged her, his eyes shining with determination. But then, everything hit rock bottom when Arsenal lost the Champions League semi-final. The press partly blamed David, saying he lack of focus because of love. Chapter 3. Guard the goal, guard you. Lucia left London and returned to Spain. David was lost, but in the FA Cup final, with the team suffering from injuries, he fought like never before, keeping a clean sheet for 120 minutes and saving the decisive penalty. When the final whistle blew, he didn't run to his teammates. He ran to the stands, where Lucia was standing, having returned to London this morning at the discreet invitation of Coach Arteta. "Lucia, I don't need the trophy if you're not in the stands," David said as he handed her the gold medal. They kissed under a shower of confetti, amid the cheers of thousands of fans. Chapter 4. The Wall of Goalkeepers and the Fragile Heart. After the FA Cup win, everything changed. David Raya was no longer just a great goalkeeper, he was a hero. But he only cared about one thing: Lucia was back. The two quietly retreated from the media spotlight. David rented a penthouse on the South Bank, with a balcony overlooking the Thames. There, between Lucia's scattered architectural drawings and David's playing gloves, a small world was built, one where it was just them. Chapter 5. The night before the departure. Lucia was preparing to return to Barcelona for a short time to defend her thesis. The atmosphere was special. David cooked dinner, a paella he had learned from his mother. They opened a bottle of Rioja, classical Spanish music playing softly in the apartment. "What do you think about when I finish my thesis, we live together?" Lucia asked, her eyes looking straight ahead, but her hands were shaking slightly. "I built a goal to keep the ball. Now I just want to build a roof to keep you," David replied. They both laughed, but then their eyes slowly fell silent. No more words needed. Lucia moved closer, placing her hand on his chest, where his heart was beating strongly. David kissed her forehead, then her cheek. The kisses were soft and slow, like the way he caught the ball, sure, precise, and full of emotion. "We can slow down," Lucia whispered, her eyes filled with emotion. "I've waited for you all season. But tonight, I don't want to keep anything anymore," he replied, his voice low and sincere. Chapter 6. A Private Moment. They were together in a candlelit night, the sound of the rain pattering outside like a soundtrack to their story. No more jerseys, no more pressure, no more cameras. Just long kisses, warm embraces, and two souls finding each other in a chaotic world. David's number 1 jersey lay on the back of the sofa, and Lucia whispered in her native tongue. "Those hands were made not just to hold the ball, but to hold you." And David whispered back, "My heart has never conceded a goal, because it waits for the right person to score. Chapter 7. The Man Behind the Net. A month later, Lucia returned to London. They lived together as a happy couple, on the surface. Inside, David became quiet. He stopped talking about football. He stopped replaying highlight reels. He came home late. Lucia began to have doubts. Late one night, while David was sleeping, his phone rang. Lucia saw the message flashing. "You can't keep hiding, David. We have a child. Catalina." Lucia was stunned. Chapter 8. The Secret Behind the Gloves. Catalina, a Spanish model, had a brief relationship with David 3 years ago, when he played for Brentford. It was over quickly, or so he thought. Lucia confronted David the next morning. Without beating around the bush, she held out her phone. "She's right? You have a child?" Her voice was choked. David hung his head, his hands clenched as if he were trying to catch a ball that was slipping away. "I don't know. I didn't contact her, I swear. But if it's true, I'll take responsibility," David said, his eyes filled with confusion and remorse. Lucia left the apartment in silence, leaving David and his world shattered into pieces. Chapter 9. The Leaked Photos. A few weeks later, the scandal broke. The Sun published photos of David with a woman and a baby in the park, the day Lucia left. Public opinion exploded, criticizing him for playing 2 games. Lucia, despite avoiding the media, still followed. But there was one thing she didn't know. The photo was real, but the baby wasn't David's. It was the child of Catalina's cousin, who was about to divorce and asked David to act to make her ex-husband jealous and come back. A stupid play, and David agreed without telling Lucia in advance out of respect for his old love. The biggest mistake of his life. Chapter 10. The Derby and the Temporary End. The North London Derby took place amid a storm of scandal. In the stands, people no longer chanted David's name. But he still kept a clean sheet, saving a penalty in the 88th minute. He did not celebrate. He just looked up at the stands, searching for a familiar figure, but he did not see it. Lucia did not come. And in the empty room, as the night fell, David Raya, the cold goalkeeper, sat alone with his jersey, unsent messages, and a broken heart.